Once upon a time, high above the rolling green hills and sparkling rivers, there lived a little white cloud named Nimbus. He was one of the smallest clouds in the sky, soft and fluffy, and always drifting happily among the others. Nimbus loved floating over mountains, gliding past the sun, and watching the world below. All the other clouds had important jobs. Some were storm clouds that rumbled with thunder and flashed with lightning. Others were gentle rain clouds that sprinkled water over fields and forests, helping flowers bloom and rivers flow. But Nimbus? Well, Nimbus didn't do much at all. He just drifted. He had never rained before. Not even once. Every morning, the cloud chief, a big, gray, and very wise cloud named Cirrus, would call out instructions. Rain over the farmlands, cumulin. Snow on the mountains, strata. And Nimbus, Cirrus would always pause, looking down kindly at the little cloud. Nimbus, just keep watching and learning for now. Nimbus would nod politely, though inside, he felt a little sad. He didn't want to just float and watch. He wanted to help. He wanted to make flowers grow and fill rivers like the other clouds. One sunny morning, Nimbus gathered his courage and floated up to Cirrus. "Cloud Chief," he said shyly, "I want to rain too. I've been watching for so long, and I think I can do it now." Cirrus smiled kindly but shook his misty head. "Raining isn't something you can rush, little one. You must gather enough water from the air, and when the time is right, you'll feel it inside. That's when you'll rain." Nimbus tried to understand, but he was impatient. He puffed himself up and tried to look big. "But I am ready. Watch this." He squeezed and puffed, trying his best to make raindrops fall. But all that came out was a tiny puff of mist that disappeared before it even reached the ground. Some of the bigger clouds chuckled gently. "Don't worry, Nimbus," said Cumulin, a big, fluffy rain cloud. "You'll learn someday." Nimbus floated away, feeling embarrassed. He drifted far from the other clouds until he was alone over the countryside. Below, he saw golden wheat fields waving in the wind and a group of children playing by a little pond. It was a lovely sight, but Nimbus noticed something. The pond looked smaller than before. The grass around it was dry and turning brown. Nimbus frowned. "Oh no," he whispered. "They need rain. I have to help them." He puffed up as much as he could and tried once more. He gathered every bit of cool air and moisture he could find. But no matter how hard he tried, nothing happened. Not one drop. He was still just a fluffy white cloud who didn't know how to rain. Feeling hopeless, Nimbus drifted on. Days passed, and the land below grew drier. The riverbeds cracked, and even the trees began to droop. The people looked up at the sky, shading their eyes. "Where are the rain clouds?" they asked each other. "Our crops will dry out soon." Nimbus overheard them, and his heart ached. He wanted so badly to help, to do the one thing clouds were meant to do. But he couldn't. One evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, Nimbus saw something unusual far away. A tall, dark shape moving toward him. It was a storm cloud, rumbling loudly, flashing with lightning. It was Tempest, the biggest and boldest storm cloud in the sky. Tempest didn't look happy. "Nimbus," he boomed. "What are you doing out here all alone?" Nimbus told him everything. The dry lands, the thirsty plants, and how he'd tried and tried but couldn't rain. Tempest listened for a while, then gave a deep rumbling laugh. "You silly little cloud. You can't rain because you're too light. You've been floating where the air is too warm and thin. You need to rise higher into the cold air. That's where raindrops are born." Nimbus blinked. "So I just need to go higher?" "Yes," said Tempest. "But be careful. Up there the winds are strong and the air is cold. Not every cloud can handle it." Nimbus puffed up bravely. "I'll do it. I have to try." Tempest smiled faintly. "That's the spirit, little one. I'll go with you for a bit." So the two clouds began to rise together. Higher and higher they went, past the mountains and through the chilly winds. The air grew thin, and Nimbus began to shiver. He felt small beside Tempest's booming thunder, but he kept going. Then something strange began to happen. The higher they went, the heavier Nimbus started to feel. His soft white fluff darkened into a silvery gray. Tiny drops of water began to form inside him. "What's happening to me?" he asked, amazed. Tempest's deep voice rumbled gently. "That, my friend, is rain. You've gathered enough water now. When you're ready, let go and you'll rain." Nimbus hesitated. "But what if I get it wrong?" Tempest chuckled. "You can't. Rain always knows where to go." Nimbus closed his eyes and took a deep, misty breath. He looked down at the fields and rivers below, the dry earth, the drooping trees, and the tired people waiting for rain. "I'm ready," he whispered. He squeezed gently, and the drops began to fall. One, then two, then hundreds and thousands. Raindrops pattered across the dry fields, splashed into the cracked riverbeds, and soaked into the thirsty soil. The children below danced and laughed in the rain, holding out their hands. The trees straightened, and the flowers lifted their faces to the sky. Nimbus beamed with pride. "I did it," he cried joyfully. "I'm raining." Tempest roared with laughter. "Well done, Nimbus. You see, every cloud has its moment." For hours, Nimbus poured down his cool, refreshing rain. When the ground was finally soaked and the rivers full again, he stopped and let the sun peek through. A rainbow arched across the sky, bright and beautiful. Nimbus felt lighter again, turning back into a soft white cloud. He drifted lazily beside Tempest, glowing with happiness. "Thank you, Tempest," he said. "If you hadn't told me what to do, I'd still be floating uselessly." Tempest gave a low rumble. "You weren't useless, little one. You just hadn't found your time yet. Every cloud must learn patience. The sky always has room for each of us to shine, or rain, in our own way." Nimbus smiled. "Then I'll never forget that. And I'll never forget how to rain again." From that day on, Nimbus became one of the most dependable little rain clouds in the sky. He didn't rain too often or too much, just enough to keep the fields green and the rivers singing. Whenever he saw young clouds floating by, watching and waiting, he would drift close and tell them, "Don't worry, your time will come too. Just keep learning, and when the world needs you, you'll know." And whenever people below saw a gentle shower after days of sunshine, they would smile and say, "Ah, it's Nimbus again, the little cloud who remembered how to rain." Up in the sky, Nimbus would laugh softly, proud and happy, for he had finally learned what it truly meant to be a cloud, not just to float and dream, but to bring life and hope wherever he went. That night, as the stars twinkled above and the earth glistened below, Nimbus drifted peacefully, whispering to the moon, "Maybe tomorrow I'll visit the desert. I hear they could use a little rain too." The moon smiled down at the tiny cloud. "That's a good idea, little one. The world could always use more clouds like you." And so, Nimbus floated off into the starlit sky, a small cloud with a big heart, who once forgot how to rain, but never forgot how to care.